Almost 6 months ago, I did a night shift at the gas station for a little extra cash. My bills were piling up, so I had to get a second job. It was around my first month when this guy started to come in every night around 1 a.m. He was about 5'9", around his mid-40s. He was just by one of those tall boys and be on his way. After a few times, he asked me for my name. I gave it to him. He just kept saying, "Jack, I like that." He then cracked open the tall boy he just bought and walked out the door talking to himself. He's got to be drunk. Sometimes he would come in and stare at the corner for a few minutes and then leave. By this point, I wonder if he ever put gas. The answer was no. He would just walk in here. Finally, I had the courage to ask for his name. He looked at me for 5 seconds and then said, "Zach." I don't know if that was his real name or if he was just trying to rhyme with Jack. A name like Zach is pretty common if you don't want to give your real name away. I asked him what he did for a living. He said he doesn't work due to the government screwing him over. "You know, you're all right," he said, and walked out the door. After that, I thought it was interesting for what he said. The days passed and I didn't see him for a while, meaning for a whole month. Zach did always give me a weird vibe, and I always thought he was drunk. One windy night, hardly any customers came in. I hear the front door opened. It was Zach, but he looked a lot different. He had darker clothes on and was just staring at the blank wall. I called out his name, "Zach, are you alright?" He turned to me with a blank stare but didn't say anything. 1 minute later, he said, "I did a very bad thing," and went to the men's bathroom. 45 minutes passed and Zach was still in the bathroom. I didn't think much of it and continued to ignore it. Suddenly the lights go out and I reach for the flashlight from behind the counter. I made my way to the bathroom. Zach wasn't there. My heart rate jumped a little and I immediately started looking for him. Suddenly I heard something from the storage room, so I immediately went to check it out. Before I could reach any further, I hear running footsteps coming right after me. There was Zach at full force without stopping. I turn around and run towards the exit. I got into my car and dialed 911. They didn't take too long until they arrived and arrested him. About a month later, I heard his real name was John and that he had beat his ex-girlfriend to death. Maybe it was that same night where he got arrested. This happened in my younger years when I used to go to a mini market located about 1 mile from where I live. It was a 24-hour gas station and was the only thing that was open late at night. The thing with me was I would stay up late at night and eat anything I would get my hands on. Late one night, I was craving something different and I didn't want to eat the same thing I had that previous night. Since it was in the country, there was no need to drive. I can potentially walk there, plus I've done it many times before. I put on my jacket and began to walk down the road. Something caught my attention a few feet ahead of me. It was a man with a white robe on the other side of the road, just looking straight toward the trees. I gently passed him and continued on my way. I made it in 20 minutes with 5 minutes to spare. The gas attendant, Jim, greets me with a hello as always. Before I buy anything, we always have a little chat to catch up on life. Jim is the type of guy, if you ever need someone to talk to, he's the guy. It was getting late, so I grabbed my snacks and headed to the register. While paying, I noticed the man from earlier, who was now outside the door. Thinking nothing of it, I grabbed my things and went straight out the door. The man was just standing there, looking at the window. By this time, it was about 1 a.m. While walking back, I noticed the man was following me. I stopped for a few seconds, then he stops while looking the other way. I continued to walk again for a minute. I turn around, but this time I ask, "Can I help you? Are you lost?" He didn't say anything. He just had a blank stare on his face. My suspicion was rising, so I began to walk faster. The faster I walked, so did he. To my left, there was an entrance to a ditch without any water in it, so my first thought was to just jump in and hide. He quickly came to my direction looking for me. I was lucky the ditch had many growing bushes, making it difficult for the man to see. If I needed to move, I can easily do it since I was covered so nicely. I stayed hidden for about 15 minutes until he gave up and just walked away. I waited another 10 minutes before coming out and began walking again. I wonder what would have happened if I never hid in the ditch. Ever since that day, I don't walk to the store anymore. Instead, I drive my car.